So, a quick glance at anything on TV or social media, you'd believe that America is more divided today than ever before. Whether that's truly the case or, maybe we just have more methods of broadcasting how we feel and our emotions than ever is also up for debate, but I tend to lean towards the latter. I do, however, believe that American cannabis community is a microcosm of the greater nation, and sometimes looking at the small pictures detail give us a better understanding of what's going on the broader scale. That's why I found this morning's article by Forbes's Dario Sabagi very interesting. Sabagi reported that cannabis telemedicine company NugMD released a 2024 election poll conducted on 755 regular cannabis consumers between March 25th and April 3rd. While the number represents a small fraction when compared to the more than 48.2 million people estimated to have used cannabis at least once, the poll still offers a glimpse into the voting intentions of consumers for the next election cycle. Per the article, the poll indicates that 59% of cannabis consumers would vote for a presidential candidate who supports pro cannabis policies like legalization. However, 17% would support such policies only if the candidate is a Democrat, while 10% would do so only if the candidate is a Republican, and 14 would stick to their preferred candidate or party. Of the 755 respondents, 87% will or are likely to vote in the 2024 election cycle. Among these, 38% believe that the Democratic Party has better ideas for the country compared to 27% who favor the Republican Party, while 35% see both parties as equal. In terms of cannabis policy, 56% of respondents who are going to vote or are likely to vote think that the Democratic Party has better ideas for cannabis policies. Additionally, 43% would vote for the U.S. President Joe Biden, while 36% would vote for former President Donald Trump if the two were to be official candidates for the next election. We don't know. We still don't know. They're 80 plus years old. They might not make it. In comparison, voter preferences between a generic Democrat and a generic Republican show 38% favoring Democrats, 21% favoring Republicans, 33% indicating indecision, 6% preferring another candidate, and 3% abstaining from voting for president altogether. Sabagi argues that this shows a significant change in voter preference between generic and specific candidates. Although many respondents show openness to various options based on candidates, President Biden has a slight lead over Trump in direct comparison. However, a significant number of voters are undecided or favor alternative candidates, suggesting possible fluctuations in voter sentiment. Overall, the poll respondents show that cannabis is not the only issue they care about, but one of several issues, or one of the main issues that they care about, highlighting that cannabis is not a top priority in their voting intentions. In terms of knowledge about cannabis markets and cannabis culture among candidates, 88% overall respondents believe that that candidates need to understand the cannabis markets and the cannabis culture in order to effectively legislate around it. I agree with that. In fact, 37% of respondents believe that candidates do not understand the market or culture at all, while 36% that candidates understand the market to some degree, but not the culture. So, while endorsement of cannabis legalization or any pro-cannabis policies may contribute to changing the voting intentions of cannabis consumers, 40% believe Democrats support a quote-unquote vibrant legal market, while Republicans aim to suppress legal use. 29% think both parties want to suppress legal use of cannabis. And as most Americans support cannabis legalization, as highlighted by several surveys in recent months, 41% in the poll believe, among other reasons, that cannabis has not been federally legalized yet because of legislative process moves slower than public opinion. All right, so all in all, 755 people is a small fraction of potential voters in the data collected from this NugMD sample. But it is showing that there's a slight leaning towards the Democrats. And when it comes to the politics and cannabis, like the rest of America, we are very divided in what we think is best for the nation's future and who we all think would be best at taking us in that direction. That being said, I'd like to ask each and every one of our correspondents today, who do you think would be better at leading the country's cannabis policy next, and why? I know it might be another lesson in futility for me, trying to ask for civility here, but I'm really interested in hearing the why in everyone's response. Not exactly the who. I can guess, you can say who, but why you think the Republicans or Democrats, if either party, would be better at leading us forward into a cannabis future that we think should come into fruition. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News. Let's see how civil we can keep things this morning.
Well, you know what, Rico? I think Adam, I think we should do a poll, and I think the audience should participate in this. We want to know which president do you think would do a better job with legalizing cannabis, Trump or Biden? Just up or down, Trump or Biden? Or if we can make it three-part, let's put Kennedy in there too, because Kennedy is a front runner in there. So that poll is going to come up shortly. Hope you guys chime in. And Trump, Biden, or Kennedy? Yeah, multiple choice, A, B, or C.
What do you think, Jason, and why? I'm more focused on why. I kind of know who you think.
Trump,
but,
Trump for sure. I mean, and if you look at it, Trump has had more progress on cannabis than any Democrats have had. Okay, we got the Farm Bill. And that basically was defaulted all cannabis is, so we basically have a quasi legal system in place, and the Democrats couldn't even get safe banking across the line when they had full control of all the all of the congressional offices and whatnot, and now they're talking about moving it to Schedule 3 would be a total disaster for the entire industry. And just to me, that's not, I saw a lot of Democrats saying how Schedule 3 is like the first step to legalization. Well, I'm not buying that for a second. To me, it's the last step to legalization and to a whole big pharma takeover, because the cannabis just isn't going to have the political muster to get anything across the finish line again, in my opinion.
Yarrow? I see everybody biting their tongue right now.
We said we were going to keep it civil. Well, okay. So I'll keep it civil. So I actually think cannabis has a better chance under Trump than Biden. And the reason why is because Biden has broken his campaign promise around cannabis, and Biden and his vice president have moved the goalpost such that they have already been taking a victory lap around the modest little things that they have done.
You mean haven't done?
Suggesting that those have been monumental instead of modest. The other reason why I think that it would more likely happen under Trump is because I don't think Trump has a coherent approach to governing, and I think he's a bit more spontaneous, and I could see him wanting to play into his maverick facade. And then finally, since he seems hell-bent on taking away women's choice of reproductive options and reversing 50-plus years of Roe versus Wade, I think he might legalize cannabis in the hopes that women will forget that he has just stripped away one of their fundamental civil liberties in this country.
You saw that he came out with a whole thing on that just yesterday, right? His whole position on that.
Well, this isn't an abortion show, bro. It's a marijuana show.
You're right. Yeah, go for it, Simon.
Hold up. Okay, I got something really, really crucial to this discussion. How about this? How about it doesn't matter if it's Trump or it doesn't matter if it's Biden. It matters who's got Wall Street in the back pocket. So who's got Wall Street in the back pocket?
Follow the money.
Who's got the bankers in the back pocket? Answer me that.
Well, let me answer you that, because you suggested that this is a marijuana show. This is a public policy show that focuses on marijuana policy. So I think that was a fair statement from fair statement from me, and we'll let the viewers decide whether that was spin or just anchoring us to what's real. The thing that I would say is that when you say that it's whoever has Wall Street in their back pocket, I think there's a fundamental shift I would like to offer there, which is that neither candidate has Wall Street in their pocket. Wall Street has both candidates in their pocket. And so Wall Street doubles down and donates to both sides to...
It's true, but there's obviously one partisan group that has much more of a deep-seated bond with those groups and those bankers. And the answer's obvious, but Yarrow, just spit it out. Who's got the juice, bro?
The Republican Party.
You think so? I wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but with the shadow money that comes in, the Edelmans, the Koch brothers, the Progress for America.
Maybe now with the defense contractors sending all these missiles to bomb little kids over there in Palestine, but maybe that's the only reason. I think it's Biden, and I think it's
hold on, Saman. I thought we were gonna keep it marijuana.
No. We just don't want to talk about abortion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not an abortion show.
So I mean, I personally think that I kind of agree with Saman there, and I think it's just about the money. You know, the crazy thing about American politics as a whole is a lot of the people with deep pockets, they support Republican standpoints, they support Republican policy when it comes to business, but they're the ones that are feeding this democratic system. So it's all kind of like a circle jerk in my eyes, which is why I'm always the one on here screaming like tear it all, burn it all down. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think this is like this is an interesting exercise, and I'm very proud of all three of you gentlemen for keeping it, you know, somewhat civil on this one. Throw a little red meat out here this morning.
Oh yeah, we love red meat, bro. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I think there's one other just sort of more granular approach to this notion of whoever gets the most resources from the capitalistic machine is likely to prevail. I think that there isn't a single Wall Street. I think there are economic interests, and I think that certain parties receive greater economic benefit from certain segments of business. And I think that we can't say that there's a single Wall Street. I think that traditionally Republicans have positioned themselves as the party of business, and because of their less government, less taxes approach to governing, there's been a pretty reasonable argument around that. But then if you look at the Democrats, they've been sort of more courting unions and teachers and those sort of things. So I don't think there's just some one big mass conglomerate Wall Street. I think there are various slices of industry, and we're likely to see greater participation from some of those industries on certain sides of the political party. But again, if we look at the way in which most businesses donate to political campaigns, they tend to hedge their bets. They might give more money to one, but they give money to both so that no matter who gets elected, they can say, hey, I had you while you were running, and now I have an agenda.
Correct, but the point...
One can also argue that with BlackRock's takeover of global real estate, Main Street effectively is Wall Street now, and vice versa.
I was gonna say it's like it doesn't matter that that there's all these like shadow businessmen with a big bag, right? It's mostly just that they're all one conglomerized banking system now. This is one lane for all these banks, and yeah, you're right. There's all these different kind of influences and factions within that monetary world, Yarrow. But there's one IMF centralized banking system, right? And so when you're saying, hey, we're going to start banking, we're going to write, what are they going to do? They're going to write loans for us. They're going to use our money in the fractional reserve banking system. I mean, this is big. The implications are huge. It's well past a politician. It's the people that are really making the decisions, which is the people with the money.
I totally agree.
What can we do collectively to get, I see Kennedy pulled up in the second place. In the poll.
Kennedy's in second place. Trump's in first place, 56%, overwhelmingly 56%. Rico.
Because we have a right leaning audience.
That's not true. I don't believe that for a second. I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah, no. What do we need to do to get America to take third-party candidates like more seriously? What can we do to effectively? Can we do anything to dismantle this two-party monopoly or a duopoly that we've been thrust into that nobody likes, nobody approves of, because it's all deep pockets. Well, that's Rico, all that runs America.
Rico, here's the reality. Here's the reality of all that is until there's real money in a third party system, when Democrats and Republicans eat up all the money, you're never going to have that. That's just not a reality.
I don't think that's even going to happen, because you can have real money, you can have billions of dollars in a third party candidate, but they're still not going to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Look what happened with Ross Perot 20 plus years ago, right? 20, 30 years ago. So he had as much money as anybody needed. I think part of it also, though, speaking to the money, is don't Democrats and Republicans get matching federal funds if they reach a certain threshold? So there is some financial incentives with this two-party system.
Thanks to Newt Gingrich.
Well, you know what? We got to go to a commercial, though, you guys. We're way over time on this. We got to go to.
Let's see Smoky Vanilla.
Great civil debate today, man. I'm proud of you guys.